Avatar, The Last Airbender. Season 2 is now very close, and before this season begins, it is the perfect time to bring together the latest information we have, trailer details, official statements, and our expectations. Because this time, the story will not just be a new adventure for Aang, Katara, and Sokka. The war is now moving into the heart of the Earth Kingdom. The secrets of Ba Sing Se are starting to open up. Toph is finally joining the story. Azula is stepping onto the field as a much bigger threat. And Zuko's inner conflict is reaching a much more important point. So today, we're going to talk about everything we need to know before watching. All the official information we have, the trailer details, actor comments, and production news tell us one thing very clearly. Season 2 will be much bigger, much darker, and much more important than Season 1. The first season was mostly about Aang's awakening, meeting Katara and Sokka, re-establishing the Fire Nation threat, and the battle at the Northern Water Tribe. But the second season now takes the story directly into the heart of the Earth Kingdom. So this time, we will not only see Aang's struggle to survive, but also how war tears the world apart, how it captures cities, and how people run away from the truth. At the end of the first season, the Gang managed to save the Northern Water Tribe from the Fire Nation attack, but that victory was actually a very painful one. Because the Fire Nation's real bigger plan was moving somewhere else. Azula captured Omashu, King Bumi was taken prisoner, and one of the strongest cities in the Earth Kingdom fell under Fire Nation control. So while Aang and his friends won a battle in the north, a much bigger loss happened somewhere else in the world. Season 2 will continue exactly from this point, and show us that war is no longer just an approaching threat, but a reality that has already spread into the world itself. One of the main goals of this season will be Aang, Katara, and Sokka trying to reach the Earth King. Because without the support of the Earth Kingdom, winning the war against Fire Lord Ozai is almost impossible. That is why the Gang will set out toward Ba Sing Se. Ba Sing Se is one of the most iconic cities in the Avatar universe. With its massive walls, layered structure, political system, mysterious atmosphere, and the phrase, "There is no war in Ba Sing Se," it is a place that has stayed in fans' memories. So Season 2 will not just be an action-packed journey. It will also be built around secrets, propaganda, denial, and political manipulation. The inclusion of Ba Sing Se automatically changes the tone of the series. Because from the outside, this city looks safe, powerful, and unbeatable. But Avatar fans know very well that a huge truth is hidden behind those walls. The city is not outside the war. It is simply living inside a system that tries to deny the war. That will be one of the most interesting parts of Season 2. Aang and his friends will not only face Fire Nation soldiers, but also a city system that suppresses the truth, silences people, and does everything it can to preserve order. Of course, the biggest event of Season 2 is definitely the arrival of Toph. Toph is one of the most beloved characters in the Avatar universe, and her introduction will completely change the dynamic of the Gang. Because Toph is not only a powerful earthbender, but also brings a completely different energy. While Aang is softer, more peaceful, and sometimes uncertain, Toph is direct, tough, stubborn, and fearless. So her joining the team does not only mean Aang learning earthbending, it also means a new conflict, new humor, and a new balance within the group. Toph's blind bandit side could be one of the most exciting parts of this season. In the animated series, Toph's first introduction was incredibly powerful, because everyone thought she was a delicate, weak girl who needed protection, but then we learned that she was actually a legendary fighter destroying everyone in underground fighting tournaments. There is a very strong chance we will see an Earth Rumble-style introduction in the live-action version as well. If Netflix handles this scene correctly, Toph's entrance could become one of the most talked-about moments of Season 2. Toph's arrival is very critical for Aang, because Aang will no longer just accept that he is the Avatar. He will actually have to train like the Avatar. In the first season, airbending was already part of his nature, and waterbending was a more fluid process that developed alongside Katara. But earthbending is a much more difficult element for Aang, because earthbending requires standing your ground, resisting, refusing to back down, and directly pushing back. Aang, by nature, is more inclined to escape, flow, and avoid conflict. That is why his earthbending training will be very important not only physically, but also for his character development. According to Gordon Cormier's comments, we will see a serious change in Aang's fighting style this season. Airbending consists of more fluid, softer, and more circular movements, while earthbending requires a harder, heavier, and stronger stance. This could create a major visual difference in the action scenes. We may see Aang standing more firmly on the ground, creating stronger defenses, and carrying the physical weight of a completely different element for the first time. This will make Season 2's action more varied than Season 1. We should also expect stronger development for Katara. In the first season, Katara was a waterbender who was discovering her own power, but was still at the beginning of her journey. After what happened at the Northern Water Tribe, she has now reached a more experienced and more determined point. In Season 2, Katara needs to be not just someone who supports Aang, but someone who can fight on her own, make decisions, and carry the emotional strength of the group. Especially as the Fire Nation threat grows, Katara reaching a more mature level, both emotionally and in terms of bending, could be one of the important parts of the second season. Sokka will once again be the intelligence, strategist, and humor of the group this season, but his story should not remain only about comedy. The best thing about Sokka is that even though he has no bending power, he is still one of the most important parts of the team. When they go to a politically complicated place like Ba Sing Se in Season 2, Sokka's planning skills could stand out much more. Also, the fact that Suki will have more presence this season could make Sokka's personal story more emotional and more powerful. On the Fire Nation side, things are becoming much more complicated. In the first season, Zuko appeared as an angry exiled prince obsessed with capturing the Avatar. But Season 2 will be a much more important period for Zuko. Because now he is not just someone chasing the Avatar, he is becoming a character who is running from his own nation, has fallen out of his father's favor, lives in the shadow of his sister, and quietly questions whether he is on the right path. Zuko's inner conflict will be much more visible this season. One of the most anticipated parts of Zuko's story is whether we will see a Zuko alone style episode, or how that storyline will be used in live action. Because Zuko Alone was one of the episodes in the animated series that took Zuko's character to a completely different level. It helped us understand his past, his bond with his mother Ursa, the trauma in his family, and why he is such a broken character. If the live-action version handles this story correctly, Zuko could become one of the strongest characters of Season 2. Azula, meanwhile, will stand out as one of the biggest threats of Season 2. In the first season, we mostly saw her in the preparation stage. But in the second season, she will now actively step onto the field. Azula is a completely different kind of danger from Zuko. While Zuko is angry, emotional, and sometimes uncontrolled, Azula is much colder, more calculating, and more ruthless. Her presence makes the Fire Nation threat much sharper. On top of that, Azula is not only a major pressure point for Aang and his friends, but also for Zuko. Azula becoming more strongly involved in the story alongside Ty Lee and Mai will also be one of the important parts of the season. In the animated series, this trio was both very dangerous and very interesting in terms of character dynamics. When Azula's leadership, Mai's cold and indifferent attitude, and Ty Lee's energetic but deadly fighting style come together, they create a serious threat for the Gong. If the live-action version balances this trio correctly, the chase and conflict scenes of Season 2 could become much more exciting. Another notable part of this season is the number of new characters. Long Feng, King Kui, Ju Di, Professor Zay, Lady Beifong, the Boulder, Zhang Zhang, Lo and Li, Ursa, and Yang Chen are all expected to appear in Season 2. Each of these names represents a different layer of the Avatar world. Some will build the political atmosphere of Ba Sing Se, some will expand Toph's past, some will deepen the Fire Nation family drama, and some will add a more spiritual dimension to the Avatar mythology. The fact that Zhang Zhang will appear this season is especially interesting. Because Zhang Zhang is an important character who shows that firebending is not just a destructive force, but that in the wrong hands, it can turn into a terrifying weapon. Aang's relationship with firebending has a very critical place in his Avatar journey. If the series covers this story in Season 2, Aang's process of learning the elements will not be limited to gaining new powers. It can also tell a deeper story about the responsibility and fear that come with power. On the production side, it is very clear that Season 2 will be bigger than Season 1. There has been talk of more sets and locations being used, with more emphasis placed on a practical world. This is very important, because even though some scenes in the first season were visually impressive, the world sometimes felt too closed off and artificial. If Ba Sing Se, Earth Kingdom villages, tournament arenas, tea shops, streets, and different city layers feel more physical and real in Season 2, the show could capture a much stronger atmosphere. There is also an interesting situation when it comes to the episode count. Season 2 is said to consist of 7 episodes, meaning it would be 1 episode shorter than Season 1. But even so, the fact that the episodes may be longer, and that the total runtime seems quite full, shows that this will not be a small season. The important thing here will not be which stories are cut, but which stories are combined correctly. Because Book 2 is a very dense chapter, it is impossible to adapt everything one-to-one. But if they carry Toph, Ba, Sing Se, Zuko, Azula, and the Earth Kingdom War properly, the season can still be very strong. One of the biggest questions is how far Season 2 will go in the story. The information we have suggests that the season will mainly focus on the Earth Kingdom and Ba Sing Se storyline. So this season, we will see Aang meeting Toph, his earthbending training, the Gong reaching Ba Sing Se, the secrets inside the city, Zuko and Iroh's new life, Azula's rise, and how the Fire Nation expands the war even further. This makes it likely that the season finale will be very heavy, dramatic, and designed to create a strong transition into Season 3. One of the best parts here is that we no longer have uncertainty about the future of the series. Netflix has already approved Seasons 2 and 3, the filming of Season 3 has also been completed, and the final season has moved into post-production. So while watching Season 2, we will not have to wonder, will there be more after this? This season will be the middle chapter of a completed 3-season plan. That is very important for building the story more intentionally. Because Season 2 does not only need to be strong on its own, it also needs to prepare the road to the final season. Overall, Avatar, The Last Airbender. Season 2 will be the real test of the live-action series. The first season introduced the world and the characters, but the second season will now show whether this world truly works. Toph's arrival, the secrets of Ba Sing Se, Azula stepping onto the battlefield, Zuko's inner conflict, Aang's earthbending training, and the war spreading through the Earth Kingdom could take the series to a much bigger level. If Netflix captures the emotion, character development, and political darkness of this season correctly, Season 2 could become the strongest chapter of live-action Avatar. So, what do you think about Avatar, The Last Airbender Season 2? What are you most excited to see? Toph's live-action introduction, the secrets of Ba Sing Se, Azula's rise, or Zuko's story moving into a darker and more emotional place? Make sure to write your thoughts in the comments, because it looks like there will be so many details to talk about this season. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more content about Avatar, Netflix series, and new season updates. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.